Mus'ab Ibn Umair, the first envoy of Islam. This man among the companions of the Prophet ﷺ, how good it is for us to start with him. He was the flower of the Quraysh, the most handsome and youthful. Historians and narrators describe him as the most charming of the Makkans. He was born and brought up in wealth, and he grew up with its luxuries. Perhaps there was no boy in Makkah who was pampered by his parents like Mus'ab Ibn Umair. This mirthful youth, caressed and pampered, the talk of the ladies of Makkah, the jewel of its clubs and assemblies. Is it possible for him to be one of the legends of faith? By Allah, how interesting a tale the story of Mus'ab Ibn Umair. He was one of those made by Islam and fostered by the Prophet ﷺ. But who was he? His story is the pride of all mankind. The youth heard one day what the people of Makkah had begun to hear about the Prophet ﷺ, that Allah had sent him as a bearer of glad tidings and the warner to call them to the worship of Allah alone. When Makkah slept and awoke, there was no other talk but the Prophet ﷺ and his religion. And this companion was one of the most attentive listeners. That was because although he was young, the flower of clubs and assemblies, the outward appearance of wisdom and common sense were among the traits of Mus'ab. He heard that the Prophet ﷺ and those who believed in him were meeting far away from the dignitaries and great men of the Quraysh at As-Safa in the house of Al-Arqam Ibn Al-Arqam Darul Arqam. He wasted no time. He went one night to the Darul Arqam, yearning and anxious. There, the Prophet ﷺ was meeting his companions, reciting the Quran to them and praying with them to Allah the Most Exalted. Mus'ab had hardly taken his seat and contemplated the verses of the Quran recited by the Prophet when his heart became the promised heart that night. The pleasure almost flung him from his seat as he was filled with ecstasy. But the Prophet ﷺ parted his throbbing heart with his blessed right hand, and the silence of the ocean's depth filled his heart. In the twinkling of an eye, the youth who had just become a Muslim appeared to have more wisdom than his age and a determination that would change the course of time. Mus'ab's mother was Khunas bint Malik, and people fear her almost to the point of terror because she possessed a strong personality. When Mus'ab became a Muslim, he was neither careful before nor afraid of anyone on the face of earth except his mother. Even if Makkah with all its idols, nobles and deserts were to challenge him, he would stand up to it. As for a dispute with his mother, this was an impossible horror. So he thought quickly and decided to keep his Islam secret until Allah willed. He continued to visit Darul Arqam and take lessons from the Prophet ﷺ. He was satisfied with his faith and avoided the anger of his mother, who had no knowledge of his embracing Islam. However, Makkah at that time kept no secret, for the eyes and ears of the Quraysh were everywhere, very alert and checking every footprint in its hot sand. Once, Uthman ibn Talha saw him steadily entering the Arqam's house. Then he saw him a second time praying the prayer like the Prophet ﷺ. No sooner had he seen him than he ran quickly with the news to Mus'ab's mom, who was astonished by it.